Hi, Dennis O'Keefe, Successful Money Strategies. I wanted to talk to you today about Social Security. Odds are if you're watching this video, you're getting close to retirement or you're just at retirement and you're dealing with Social Security issues. And I wanted to go over a couple of tips and tricks and just some data because there's an awful lot of information out there. It seems like there's a whole bunch of resources that have very personal opinions and very strong opinions on what you should be doing with Social Security. And I want to kind of blow that up a little bit. Social Security, I will tell you, is a very personal decision. It is something that's factored in based on your age, based on your other resources besides Social Security, life expectancy, if you have a spouse or not, is the spouse Social Security qualified? All of those are going to factor into when and how you take your Social Security. You need to be aware of all of them. If you're just blindly saying, I'm just going to take this, you can be in trouble. Now let's talk about a few basics. Is Social Security, for virtually everybody watching this video, your full retirement benefit begins at between the ages of 66 and 67. That's when you'll get 100%. So when you get that report in the mail from Social Security and they say this is your full benefit, that's the age. So we're looking at that age. Now, everybody, regardless of who they are, can collect at 62. So at 62, you're going to see a reduction somewhere between 25 and 30%. Now, everybody can wait till age 70. At age 70, you maximize your benefits. If you hold off until age 70 and don't collect until then, you'll collect somewhere between 24 and 32% more money for waiting. So there's definitely an advantage to waiting, but maybe not, and it really depends on your situation. For instance, let's say you have two people. They work the same job for the same number of years. They collect the same Social Security benefit. They both retire at 62. One of them begins right away, and one of them waits until age 70. Now, the break even, when will the person at 70 have more money collected from Social Security than the person that collected at 62? Is the break even somewhere in the mid 70s? From that standpoint, definitely you should look at waiting until 70. But if I said I want you to lend me $10,000 today, and I'm not going to pay it back to you for 8 years, and in 8 years I'll give you back your money and not a lick of interest, is that any good? It isn't. What we find is that's something called time value of money in financial circles, is we need to take future money and bring it back to today and equate it to today's dollars, because $10,000 in the future is not worth $10,000 today. So we need to balance that out. So when we do that, all of a sudden that same break-even point rolls to the late 70s, maybe even early 80s, depending on the mix and things of that nature for the specific individual. Now you're getting to average human life expectancy, and now it's becoming a guessing game. Now you've got to play the odds. Do I have longevity in my family? All of that. I'm going to throw one more wrinkle into this, and this is the one that nobody thinks about, is I retire at 62 or before 62, and I plan on waiting till age 70. I'm going to wait till maximum benefit. How am I going to make ends meet between 62 and 70? I was planning on getting $2,000 or $3,000 in Social Security. Now I'm not going to get anything. Odds are that money's going to come from your portfolio. And when we look at it on that aspect, now all of a sudden the drain on the portfolio in those first 8 years is significant enough that it's going to take another several years in order to hit the true break-even. So you're talking possibly late 80s, even early 90s in some circumstances, where that true break-even point is. So you need to factor all of that in, of when you're going to retire, how is that going to work? And I'm not saying everybody should collect at 62. Absolutely not. It really depends on your situation. But I will tell you this, I have a couple of opinions on this. After retiring hundreds of times with my clients, I can kind of walk you through some of the things I've observed and some of the things I believe. They're not necessarily facts, they're what I believe. Number one, money early in retirement is worth more than money later in retirement. Period. Is having money at 65 is so much more valuable than having money at 85. You're not going to be jumping out of airplanes at 85. You might be at 65. You might be going on a world trip. There might be all of those laundry list of things that you want to do when you retire. You're going to do those early in retirement. You're not going to say, well, I'm going to wait till I'm 80 before I do that. Absolutely not. The older you get, the more sedentary you get, because our bodies just break down. Having more resources early in retirement means more flexibility early in retirement, which is when I want to be spending my money and enjoying my money. The second thing is that all things being equal, trying to preserve as much of my retirement nest egg for the next generation is important to me. Now, if I spend all of my own money on me in my lifetime, that's great. But if I leave money on the table, I want to make sure it goes to my children. Absolutely. And I think just about everybody else feels that way. But if I make a mistake with Social Security and I have less money to give them because of it, that bothers me. So you need to be aware of that. All that said, you still need to make sure that your situation is looked at individually if you have questions. If you'd like to schedule a quick phone call of about 15 or 20 minutes to discuss your situation further and how we might be able to help you, there's a link down below. You can just click that and it will take you through the whole process. You'll be talking to me. This is who I am. This is how things are. I look forward to talking to you very, very soon. Thank you.